Why do we dream? Well, we dream for at least several different reasons. One key benefit is creativity. Sleep, including dream sleep, is associated with an enhanced ability to solve next day problems. It's almost as though we go to sleep with the pieces of the jigsaw, but we wake up with the puzzle complete. The second benefit of REM sleep dreaming is emotional first aid. REM sleep takes the painful sting out of difficult emotional experiences, so that when we come back the next day, we feel better about those painful events. You can almost think of dreaming as a form of overnight therapy. It's not time that heals all wounds, but it's time during dream sleep that provides emotional convalescence. Now, it's not just that you dream, it's also what you dream about that seems to make a difference. Scientists have discovered that after learning a virtual maze, for example, those individuals who slept but critically also dreamed about the maze were the only ones who ended up being better at navigating the maze when they woke up. And this same principle is true for our mental health. For example, people going through a difficult or traumatic experience, such as a divorce, and who are dreaming about that event, go on to gain resolution to their depression, relative to those who were dreaming, but not dreaming about the events themselves. All of which means that sleep and the very act of dreaming itself appears to be an essential ingredient to so much of our waking lives. We dream, therefore we are.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Bear with Rumination. Hold on. Sorry, that's a back noise. Dan Bear with the Rumination Project. How you guys doing today? We are on the 10th episode of Mental Health Mondays, where we're going to be talking about dreaming today, as you can see from the intro. And as always, we have our co-host here, Rhino. What's going on, Rhino? Don't forget you're on.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight?
It's a beautiful day. You can see the sunlight just streaming in my house. I actually have to put a blanket over my drapes, otherwise I'd be blinded. But it's a gorgeous day here in Quincy, so I hope everybody's enjoying the weather.
And I'm just due east of him about an hour or two, something like that. I'm not sure exactly. About 2 hours, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. But it's nice here too. A little windy, but nothing wrong with a good breeze. Makes them stalks outside strong.
What's going on, everybody? We already got some people in here. Vicky, Jeremy.
Hi, Chris. Chris says he's got a storm blowing in.
Chris, what's going on? What's going on, Ted? How you doing?
Hi, Joe and Ted.
Yeah, please hit those reaction buttons to share and tag some friends in as well. We're going to be talking about an interesting subject tonight about dreaming. And we, as you all know, we all dream. We all experience dreaming. Sometimes we don't all remember our dreams, but the truth is we still dream. We just don't remember it. And as we get older, we struggle more to remember our dreams. But that is tonight's subject. We're going to be talking about dreaming. So it's going to be let me put that at the bottom here so we all know. Oops, not that one.
Hi, JV. What's up, buddy? Hey, Lord Leaf Cycle. Thanks, everybody, for coming in tonight. Hi, Stacy.
We'll do it like...
Yeah, I know.
There we go. Now we know we're talking about dreaming tonight.
Dreams can be really vivid. I was reading around on different stuff, and it reminded me of using dreams. Like when I first got sober, probably for the first 8 or 9 months, maybe even first year probably. And then randomly after that, I would have drinking dreams. I would wake up feeling like I actually relapsed. It was so vivid that I felt like, and I would have to go and smell my breath just to make sure I didn't drink.
Yeah.
It was that vivid. It felt like I was there. And they call them using dreams or drinking dreams or whatever. And a lot of people have them. It's part of PAWS, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. It's part of when people get sober for the first little bit of time, they have them dreams every once in a while, and it can scare the shit out of you because you think you actually relapsed, But I know it was after a while they started going away. But even when they were still going, my sponsor used to tell me, says that's just God telling you or reminding you what it's going to feel like if you actually do relapse. And I thought, that's a good idea, a good way to look at it. So every time it happened, I was like, thank you, God.
Yeah, dreaming is interesting, and it's something that we still don't completely understand as humans and why we do, but it seems to be a connection to our subconscious. It seems to help us take care of problems we have during the day, or maybe problems we have deeper, trauma, issues with trauma or insecurities. That's usually what a nightmare is. It's usually an insecurity or some trauma that forces its way up, and we just don't understand it. So it may appear like a nightmare, but it's more than likely your subconscious, trying to tell you something.
And we've been studying them for years. I was watching one video while we was looking for content tonight, and it showed, it said something about how back in Mesopotamia, they used to write down on plaques or scrolls or anything. They write in wax what their dreams were like and what they were dreaming. And a lot of people over the years, after doing that and keeping track of it, they made a book of dreams. And that's what kind of started bringing up the different types of dreams that people have and kind of categorize things after so many years.
Thanks. Yeah, it's going to be a great night of information. I actually like when we do these podcasts, me and Rhino learn a lot as well too, because a lot of the information presented is stuff I don't know. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a sleep expert. We're not experts at anything that we talk about. We just like to educate people and then talk about it openly, and then have people figure out the rest by themselves, but with the information we present. So
we're expert on ourselves, just like the rest of you guys.
And you're welcome to ask any questions in the comments. We can bring it up and discuss it as a group too. So
absolutely. Hi, Lisa May. Hi, Steph.
Playing the tape out. Well,
yeah, that's one of my biggest, is playing that tape all the way through. What's going to happen at the end?
According to science, you may not remember your dreams, but you still have dreams. So that apparently is a fact, that you may not remember your dreams for a very long time, but it doesn't mean you're not dreaming. Just that it's part of our chemistry in our brain, just makes us not really remember it very well.
Well, a little bit much there.
and from what science shows, it says the older we get, the harder it is to remember dreams. But there are techniques, and I was just telling Rasta, there's an interesting technique that I've tried to help me remember dreams. It's where I actually wake up. I'll wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, right before you go into REM sleep, and you smoke a little bit of cannabis, and then you go back to sleep. And I've done this a few times, and it's worked every time. You'll have a very lucid REM dream in the next 2 or 3 hours, and then you'll actually wake up remembering the dream very well, and you'll remember it longer than you normally do. And I read this, I watched this YouTube video. This is where I found this information out, but everybody else should try it. And set an alarm someday, wake up right before you go into REM sleep, smoke some cannabis, and then go back to sleep and see what happens. It can only happen then, so it can't happen right before you go to sleep and at night, because you don't go into REM sleep until 4 to 6 hours later. So you have to do it right before you go into REM sleep, and it apparently does works for me. It helps me remember my dreams, and it helps seem to be like they're more lucid dreams. How you doing, Steph? Hope all's well.
Hi, Fred.
He said you're a quiet cougher, but he muted himself. So
it's a technique. It's a part of the mind and meditation. Yeah.
He just looks like he coughs and doesn't make a sound. How you doing, Fred?
My wife wishes that was true.
Don't remember many dreams unless I'm sick. Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Well, hopefully after today, some of you guys understand dreams, but maybe we'll understand a little bit more about how to dream or remember dreams. But I've always had interesting dreams my whole life, and in fact, I've actually experienced sleep paralysis that I apparently didn't know was sleep paralysis until later on in life. But some of the videos we'll show tonight actually show a lot of interesting facts about sleeping. And I used to experience as a kid where I wake up and I didn't know how to tell what time it was. And apparently that's a fact if you are a lucid dreamer and you know that you're dreaming, but you know that you're a person dreaming, that you aren't able to tell the time or be able to look in the mirror, something like that. I think it was in that video. But I remember I used to wake up and I'd look at the clock and I had no idea how to read it. It didn't make any sense to me. And that's because I was actually lucid dreaming, but I was actually waking up while dreaming. And then I was basically, you're in between dream state and consciousness. And that's why my brain was so confused about how to be able to tell what time it was.
Yeah. And that's, I've woken up before on a Saturday or a Sunday like that and woke up, looked at the clock, and it was past time I was normally supposed to wake up for work. And I get up, get ready, almost get out the door, have gotten out the door before and be like, oh, fuck, it's Saturday or it's Sunday. I don't have to work. And that feeling and that confusion you're talking about, I can see that. I got a funny thing or a interesting over here. She said something about vivid dream or something whenever she remembers dreams when she's sick. If you've ever had a particularly intense dream while you're sick, it may be a fever dream. A fever dream is a term used to describe vivid dreams you have when your body temperature is elevated. For many people, these dreams can be disturbing and unpleasant. So that's an interesting fact. Yeah. I had to Google it.
Yeah, I've had weird dreams too while I was sick, and I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have what happened to my video? There it is. But there's an interesting video that actually explains a lot, and then we can play this. It's kind of longer than I normally play, but it is packed full of really interesting facts, and this may be the only video we really have to play to kind of explain what dreaming is, and then we can stop it here and go along and talk about it. But it's a really interesting video here.
Shrooms can make your dreams more colorful and vivid, I hear, Joe. I don't really remember dreams right now, so.
And this is, I think it was a TED Talk. No, it's Brainy Dose, 14 interesting psychological facts about dreams. And I thought it was 3 years old, and I thought maybe it'd be a little outdated, but it's not at all. It really has packed with a lot of the newest science of what we think, dreaming is.
Yeah, and I watched this, and there was a lot of videos that I watched too, but all them little videos were in this. So it was
yeah, like they put all the information into one.
Right.
Brainy Dose presents 14 interesting psychological facts about dreams. People dream about 6 years during their lives on average. Imagine 6 years spent absorbed in wondrous, frightening, thrilling, and sometimes completely incomprehensible sensations. Your dreams, if you could record them all, would certainly prove just what a creative being you really are. Why we dream what we do might appear to be totally mystifying, but in fact, the disciplines of dream and sleep science have actually discovered quite a lot about dreams. This video will give you some deep insight into dreams. You will discover a lot of information that will truly astonish you. Let's get started. Number 1. Your mind is more active during a dream than when you're awake. During sleep, the mind and body relax. After all, the primary reason why we sleep is to recover from the day's stress on the body, to repair muscle damage, and to freshen up for the next day's demands. Yet, as paradoxical as it may seem, your mind is a buzz of activity while you're asleep, even more so than when you're awake. Sleep studies, where a brain's electrical activity is measured, provide solid data documenting brain activity. But why is the brain so active when you're asleep? Well, you experience a lot during a typical day. When you're awake, your brain is so busy taking in everything you see, hear, and feel that it has little time to actually process, categorize, and store all this information. When you're asleep, your brain finally has time to make some sense of it all. There is also evidence that your brain becomes even more stimulated when it has to deal with a brand new experience, or with some major change you experienced, regardless of whether that change was good or bad. Number 2. It all happens in your subconscious. Your conscious mind relaxes when you're asleep, but your subconscious never really sleeps. When you sleep, your subconscious is where all that dreaming takes place. You see, your subconscious mind is busy processing your thoughts and concerns. This processing generates dreams. Dreams speak the language of the subconscious mind, and this language is composed of images, metaphors, and other symbols that your conscious mind usually has a hard time grasping. This is why most people have trouble making sense of their dreams. But you can be sure that your dreams don't just come out of nowhere. They come right from your own personal experiences. Number 3. Your dreams only see familiar faces. What? All those weird events in my dreams? I know all those people? That's right. Your subconscious can't invent new faces. That only makes sense because your subconscious only remembers things. So, any face that appears in your dreams is a face you have already encountered. This does not, however, mean that you actually know the person. Just think about it. Your eyes see and take in things that your conscious mind doesn't really pay attention to. Just think of all the people you pass by during the day. Maybe faces in a crowd you glanced at. You may not recognize any of those faces, but your subconscious stored them all. Most of the main actors in your dreams are, however, people you would recognize, simply because they occupy your thoughts more. But sometimes, your dreams can concoct a strange mix of familiar and unfamiliar people. For instance, a friend of yours might appear in one of your dreams. His face and personality might seem to match up with reality. Yet, upon waking, you might realize that a person with a different face actually played the role of that friend. Number 4.
Has anybody out there had this happen? I mean, I found that interesting because I go back to dreams, and I remember I had this dream about a girl that I thought I had never met, and I had dreams about her multiple times, but apparently it was, a creation of my subconscious of seeing somebody else, and just in passing. And I'm just curious if anybody else has ever seen strangers' faces in their dreams and whether or not they agree with what they just said.
Not in that sense, but I've been in a familiar place, but everybody around me was a stranger.
Yeah, almost all the dreams I've had in the last 10 years are all people, like the 10 closest people in my lives. It's always
most of the ones I remember like that. But that one particular one, it was all strangers. It was weird.
Huh.
Never
Can't read in your dreams. You are typically engaged in a lot of activity in your dreams. But one thing you aren't doing is reading. Yes, books and signs might pop up, but you aren't reading any of them because you won't make out any words or letters. This is because reading is a conscious activity. Remember, your brain is the product of a long period of evolution. However, humans have been reading only for about 5,000 years. Your subconscious is not equipped for this. When you are asleep, your conscious mind is taking a break. You can't even read a clock in your dreams.
See, there's the
And
weird
it
clock.
gets weirder. You can't see yourself in a mirror. If you look into one in your dreams, the image will be blurred or resolve into another person.
So I find that really interesting because I've told you the story about when I do mushrooms and I look in the mirror, and that's exactly what happens when I look in the mirror. When I heard that today, it makes me think that maybe the brain, when you're on a psychedelic, it really thinks that you're dreaming. And if that happens in your dreams, when you look in the mirror, and it happens in real life, I found that really intriguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because every time I look in the mirror when I'm on a high dose of psychedelics, it's a really weird experience. It usually starts to blur it out, or it'll change the face into somebody else. And that's weird that it does it inside of a dream as well.
Yeah, I never related it to a dream, but I know what you're saying. Never had the face change, but I've had the blur, and it's just like, I don't know, it's
What's going on, Wayne?
kind of like a foggy look. Hey, Wayne, what's up, brother?
Yeah, it's an interesting. So when I heard that, it made me really think of, because I'm never able to explain why that happens in a psychedelic experience, and there's not like any studies or research of why it happens inside the brain, but like, because other people experience it too when they're on a high dose and look in the mirror and it just blurs their face out, or it can give you a headache. So
Right.
Number 5. Sensory incorporation. It may seem strange, but it actually should make some sense. In order for you to dream, your body needs to be relaxed. If your body is disturbed by some external sensation such as noise, or internal sensation such as bladder pressure, your subconscious will be affected by this. Anything like that will bring you out of a dream state. In order to get back to it, your subconscious has to be completely undisturbed. So, you need to shut off the noise or go to the washroom before your mind will be able to start dreaming again. Number 6. Men and women dream differently.
this is really interesting.
Researchers have discovered that women and men dream differently, and they dream about different things. Several studies have documented that men dream about things like, for example, weapons, far more often than women do. Women, on the other hand, dream a lot more about things involving clothes. Furthermore, men's dreams contain a lot more aggression and physical activity, while women's dreams more often have to do with emotional themes, such as exclusion or rejection. In addition, a lot more conversations are being held in women's dreams than in men's. Women's dreams are also a bit longer and involve more people than men's dreams. What might seem somewhat surprising is that in men's dreams, men appear twice as often as women. Women's dreams, for some reason, are more balanced. Men and women appear roughly as often. Number 7. 50% of dreams are negative. According to research, negative emotions emerge in many of your dreams. Your dreams are, in a sense, fair about this all. About half of them are positive, but half are also negative. Negative dreams tend to involve emotions such as anger, fear, insecurity, and sadness. Number 8. Dreams can be a sign of anxiety or underlying stress. Our dreams show that humans everywhere seem to have a lot in common. No matter where we are born or where we grow up, our dreams often involve being chased, attacked, or falling. Other common themes are feelings of being frozen or immobilized, or arriving late. Sometimes we even dream about appearing naked before others. While the meanings of such dreams can differ depending on a person's particular circumstances, these dreams can often be connected to feelings of anxiety or stress. If you experience unpleasant dreams, try to pay more attention to taking care of yourself. Also, try to deal with circumstances that are causing you stress. Number 9.
I think that's connected to our fear too, because I've had my fears connected to my dreams as well, where you have bad dreams based on what you fear. And I'm not like talking about like fear of heights and stuff, more deeper fears like
Sure.
psychological fears and fears of rejection, or fears of abandonment and stuff like that.
Yeah, or failure. Like I was reading something earlier, and I related to, like, I got a big test coming up or had a big test coming up in college, and
Hey,
I
Jimmy.
dreamed that I failed the test. Hey, Jimmy. Or something, a project at work that I dream that it goes totally wrong, and it could be fear, or it is fear that, it creates that fabrication.
Yeah, I had a dream recently, and it was based. Well, I've had it like 5 times the last 2 years, and I've had it since I've started using psychedelics. And it's a dream where I'm either being arrested or I'm running from the police, and then I have a fear of I did something bad. It's usually I killed somebody, so now there's a fear in my head that I'm going to go to jail forever. And then my mom's in every single one of these dreams, and it's my subconscious telling me, that my mother still is kind of in my head, and I need to, let go of that and all this other stuff. And there are really real meanings in your subconscious that they're trying to tell you, deeper meanings of based on fear and, insecurities. But you have to really pay attention. You really have to pay attention to how you feel in the conscious world to really interpret your dreams,
Yeah, and look at what's going on in your life, and stuff, and it can help you realize, some things, like if you're trying to avoid something while you're being chased, or you're feeling vulnerable because you're naked in your dream, or or different just different things that they dream interpretations can be. And it's really neat and interesting. I'd like to look into it more. I always say that I was going to, but I never did, because dreaming, when I talked about the using dreams, it always intrigued me how the mind works while we're asleep.
Yeah, Joe, I used to think it was part of me just growing cannabis, but then when I started seeing my mother in it, I knew that it was deeper than that, because like my mother wouldn't just randomly be in all 5 of them. So I really started to connect that there was more about my mother being in my head and kind of making me being in my own prison because of what I think my mother thinks of me. And so that's something I've really worked on. And I don't have those dreams anymore, because I think I've dealt with that feeling now. So I haven't had that dream in probably 8 or 9 months. I've really, really dealt with my anxiety a lot too. So, because I used to wake up in the morning with really bad panic attacks, and I don't have that happen anymore. So that's a good thing.
And that, Vicky's talking about, and Jimmy also, about premonition dreams.
Yeah, that's
deja vu. I believe in that totally, because I was reading on that somewhere too earlier. And I've had that happen before, where I dreamed about it, and it happened. And they talk, you can manifest stuff that way, by manifest it in your life, and you talk about it, and you then you start dreaming about it, and eventually some stuff comes true, or similar to what you're trying to manifest. But dreams are very interpretive, and they're very they do a lot of premonition. That's where you get the deja vu, I believe.
Yeah, that's the next subject here, and we'll continue here in the video now.
9. Premonition dreams. There are some really astounding instances in which people have foreseen things in their dreams that would happen to them. These dreams often turned out to be surprisingly accurate. Were these dreams a glance into the future, or were they just a matter of circumstance? Well, some pretty strange cases of premonition are recorded in history. For example, many of the 9/11 victims dreamed about the coming terror attack. Mark Twain dreamed about his brother's death. Abraham Lincoln dreamed that he would be assassinated. The verified dreams of 19 people foresaw the sinking of the Titanic. Number 10. Dreaming in black and white. Your dreams might be very vivid and colorful. A lot of people have such dreams. Yet some people say that their dreams are black and white. Why? Studies have established that age and the media one is exposed to might play a role in what colors occur in people's dreams. For example, older people grew up with black and white television and photography. Many of them have monochromatic dreams. It's the way they picture people and events external to themselves. Younger people, on the other hand, have known nothing but color photography and television. Number 11. Dreams recharge your creativity.
Heck yeah, they do.
Okay, so dreams might contain some subconscious messages. But what use can they really be? Well, dreams can help you in various aspects of your life, every day. Researchers suggest that dreams are especially helpful in developing your creative capabilities. Artists often remark on how useful their dreams are in their creative processes. But dreams can help anyone by providing creativity towards solving everyday problems. Just as you use your waking imagination when you are trying to be creative, dreams do precisely this while you are asleep. While you sleep, your subconscious is dealing with and working out problems. The process is actually quite similar to the creative process you use when awake. In other words, the creative process continues when you're asleep, and your dreams actually help improve your creativity. As you may be aware, Dreams can even directly provide you with inspiration. Let's say, for example, that you've just dreamed something really amazing, or you experienced something challenging, or you relived some emotional event. These kinds of dreams can help connect you to strong feelings, and thus help you be more creative. Number 12. Dreams have changed history. So, you now know that dreams serve to refresh and support the creative process. History shows that many dreams directly led to ideas that changed the world. For example, Larry Page came up with his idea for Google. Dmitry Mendeleev came up with the periodic table of elements. Elias Howe was inspired to invent the sewing machine. James Watson envisioned the DNA double helix. Tesla got the idea for an alternating current generator. Number 13. It's possible to control your dreams. Have you ever had a dream while you were sleeping and were aware that you were dreaming at the time? That kind of dream is referred to as a lucid dream. It is thought that lucid dreaming arises from a state that combines both consciousness and REM sleep. While you are in such a state, you can often control the contents of your dreams. About 50% of people remember having a lucid dream at least once in their lives. And some people have lucid dreams over and over again. Number 14.
That's always interesting.
You always dream. You just don't always remember. Yes, always. Even if you don't remember a single dream. Most people have several dreams each time they sleep. These dreams can concern any number of scenarios and differ in intensity. Yet, many people just don't remember them once they wake up. Over half, about 60% in fact, don't remember anything of their dreams after 5 minutes of waking up. After just 10 minutes, most people forget about 90% of the details from their dreams. So what you remember of your dreams is only a small fraction of what you actually dreamed. But there is an exception. If you happen to wake up suddenly while you are in the REM phase of sleep, you are often able to remember quite a lot of your dream's content. Of course, dreams can also stick with you if you have a particular dream repeatedly, or if they contain some very strong emotions. If you want to remember more of your dreams, keep a notepad by your bedside. As soon as you wake up, write down anything you can recall. Once you've recorded your dreams, you can refer to your notes and see whether any themes are recurring. You can even try to identify any messages your subconscious may be communicating to you. So, there you have it. Pretty interesting, don't you think? These dream facts may just be the tip of a very large iceberg. Psychologists and neuroscientists are still conducting research into the purpose of dreaming and the meanings of dreams. Many are convinced that there is still a lot to learn. Share your thoughts.
Yeah, there is. So that's an interesting video, I think, and
Yeah.
I think the lucid part is interesting because I actually lucid dream myself. I haven't for a while, but I used to quite a bit when I was younger, and those are always weird experiences when you have a lucid dream and you're aware that you're dreaming, and then I was able to control the dream, and then I can also I can still do it now. If I do dream and I wake up, I can go back into the dream, and I can do that.
Sometimes I can do that too. Yeah.
I can do that pretty easily most of the time. I just concentrate on going back into the dream, and normally it just continues.
So is that white paper to pen? Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Waking up in the middle of the night and see if I can remember my dreams and I keep a pad and paper by me anyway, right by my bed, just in case I remember something I need to write down, or need to write down something I need to remember. But yeah, I want to try that, see if I remember my dreams.
I usually sleep really well too, and then I get wake up really refreshed. So I think if you smoke cannabis right before your REM sleep, that you also sleep a lot deeper as well, and that's probably why you're able to have these these dreams that you actually can remember.
Right.
But it's interesting. More people should try it and see what happens to them. And it's not too hard to set an alarm at 4 a.m. and get up, smoke a bowl of cannabis till you're tired again, and then just go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Wayne, he says he sleeps better after a night at mushrooms. His brain feels worn out. Yeah, that's the same way. I slept good this weekend too. Friday night and Saturday. Saturday I floated, so it was, I was wore out physically too, but mentally I was wore out because I did a lot of thinking and a lot of realizing. And I had a really, really good, deep, intentional trip. Not intense, intentional. And I went into it with some questions and I got some answers, and got some acceptance and some realization, and it was pretty cool. But yeah, I was exhausted when I got back to the cabin. We ate and I took a nap and didn't want to wake up really, but went down and watched the band. But it was really good, really good therapeutical weekend all around.
Yeah.
In many ways.
That's awesome. Massive overthinker.
Yeah, me too. That's why we call people to help us underthink.
But
Wayne called me one night and we had some talking, and it was pretty cool. He just called to just run some things across, and I think more of it him talking it out loud, and just a couple things I said that rang true, and he's like, oh wow, okay, and it worked out for him. And the same thing, I had to do the same thing with him one time. I called him and ran a couple things across him, and just talking about it to another person just made it sound a lot more. I guess it helped me solve the problem because I was just thinking about it, thinking out loud. Had a sounding board.
nice.
Me neither, Lord. Looks like I hardly do, Andrew. I once in a while I'll remember a good one. The reoccurring ones is one I remember. There's one I can't remember what the one about flying says. Hold on, let me look. But many people experience dreams about flying. Flying dreams can be exciting and even liberating, but they can also sometimes be quite frightening, especially for those afraid of heights. According to Tony Crisp, author of Dream Dictionary, dreams about flying often have two very different sides. They can represent feeling of freedom and independence. On the other hand, they can also indicate a desire to flee or escape from the realities of life. But mine, it's weird. I would say.
Hey, Beckham.
Before it was the latter part, the running from realities of life, because I haven't had the dream in years, and it was always me running. But in order for me to fly, I had to keep running in the running motion, like a running man, up in the air. But I could. It's not like I could fly like Superman like that. But it was weird. But yeah, these interpretations I get from very well mind. I don't know if it's anything certified or anything. It just popped it up.
Yeah. Interesting, yeah. Dreams after somebody passes away are always probably more important.
Yeah. Like I said before, our minds are so intricate and, tightly wired machines, it's hard to know what's going on in them while we're sleeping. Hi, Mr. Burns. Hi, Becca.
Well, this is probably a good time to do our mental health news break here. Do a little smoke break.
Yeah.
And as we started last week, we were going to do a little mental health on the news, a little 10-minute episode every week about mental health that's on the news right in the middle of our podcast. And I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. If we got any NFL fans out there, who knows who Johnny Manziel is? And he was a quarterback, won the Heisman a couple decade ago. Came in the NFL. He was supposed to be really good and then had a lot of issues. And he recently came out in an interview talking openly about his mental health. I thought it was pretty candid, pretty blunt, and basically, taking responsibility for what he did and the actions that he caused. And he's trying to get back in the NFL. So I wanted to share a little story about that today and talk about that interesting aspect of what he talked about. Oh, where'd it go? So there's a great story on it here. I'll just share it and we'll talk about it here. So let me bring that up here.
Ted, that's a very good idea.
Yeah, get your cannabis out and then let's talk a little bit about football, but more or less a guy openly talking about mental health. That's what. Oh, I totally forgot our intro. Hold on a minute. I got this intro here I made, so I have to use it.
Oh yeah, your mental health.
Boom, there we go. Mental health Monday news intro. That's a lot better. Let's give that one a round of applause. We need to give it an applause too, because this is our 10th episode, people, of Mental Health Mondays. Is that the loudest that thing gets? Is it looping now? It was like a golf course. That's my applause. This is our 10th episode of Mental Health Mondays. Big, that's a big deal. I never really thought I'd get to 10, I guess, a year ago when I wasn't making any podcasts. So thank you all for joining us in this 10th episode and joining the last 10 episodes. And don't forget to hit those reaction buttons, hit them likes, and keep on joining us, because it will be sooner or later. It'll be to 20, then 50, and probably 100. And I love doing all this. I love openly talking about all these different subjects we talk about. So thank you guys for all joining us. So now we'll bring that back up, and everybody load their pipe, and we'll talk a little bit about this.
News exclusive. Johnny Manziel, the former NFL quarterback and Heisman Trophy winner, now opening up about his struggles off the field, and he's opening up to TJ Holmes, who was with him over the weekend, and it seems like he's come a long way since he stopped playing ball, TJ.
And Ramen, you remember his dad once said, if my son doesn't get help, he'll be dead by his 24th birthday. Well, Johnny Manziel just turned 25. He says he stopped drinking. He has an offer on the table to get back into pro football. He's even engaged. And for the first time, he's revealing here the help he is getting to mount not just a football, but a life comeback.
You don't understand when people come up to us like, what the hell is your son doing? And I didn't really feel that until my mom said that. She just broke down. She was crying, and I saw the trickle-down effects of what I was doing in my daily life that were meaningless and pointless and selfish.
Johnny Manziel's life, from field to club to courtroom, has been on full display since November 10th, 2012.
Manziel takes off again.
That's the day the legend of Johnny Football was born.
Manziel on his feet, touchdown!
An exciting, wildly talented, yet undersized quarterback at Texas A&M,
Johnny Manziel,
who went on to become the first freshman to ever win the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, we had a bunch of cool stuff from obviously the 2012 season.
He was a first-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, but his off-the-field issues eventually led the team to cut him in 2016, and Johnny Football hasn't played football since.
Watching other guys that are doing what I want to be doing, and I'm sitting on the couch being a loser.
Manziel admits there's no one to blame but him. Run-ins with the law, a domestic assault charge that was dismissed in November after he agreed to attend an anger management course, and his well-documented partying and drinking, like this moment captured by TMZ cameras.
I had a sense of entitlement about what I had accomplished at the age that I had accomplished it, and I got so ingrained in only caring about what Johnny wanted. Even when I thought I was doing what I wanted, I was miserable.
Manziel eventually entered rehab in 2015. He says he's had time to reflect, mature, and clean up. He got engaged to his girlfriend, Bree Tiesi. He's been working out.
Guess what he was doing? You know, he was feeding his ego, and we did that whole episode of what happens when you feed your ego on the ascend. When you're ascending and you feed that ego and what it does. And I mean, unfortunately, he didn't understand that until now. But because a lot of you really can't understand it while it's happening. You know, your ego's becoming inflated. You're getting elevated in life, and all this accomplishments you think are coming, and that's exactly what happened to him.
And at that level, everybody's feeding it too, not just yourself.
Yeah.
Trying to convince a pro team to take a chance on him, and he's launched his own line of apparel.
Is the goal of this comeback to get back into the NFL ultimately?
That's the end goal, 100%.
You have to tell me, are you still drinking?
No.
Not drinking at all?
I'm not. Because here's the way I look at it. Going back throughout the last couple years of my life, I was self-medicating with alcohol. Like, it's what I thought was making me happy and helped me get out of that depression to a point of where I felt like I had some sense of happiness. But at the end of the day, you're left staring at the ceiling by yourself, and you're back in that depression and back in that hole, that dark hole of sitting in a room by yourself, being super depressed, thinking about all the mistakes you've made in your life. What did that get me? Where did that get me except out of the NFL? Where did that get me? Disgraced? And I went a solid 5 months until I really fell back into like a little bit of a depression where I didn't drink, I didn't do anything, but still, you know, I was going to therapy. And the difference that I know this year is I started taking a look at my mental health a little bit and making it a priority in my life, and Bree making it a priority in my life, to where I'm taking medication for bipolar, and I'm working to try and make sure that I don't fall back into any type of depression, because I know where that leads me and I know how slippery of a slope that is for me.
You're speaking very openly about things right now in your life that maybe you wouldn't have before. And you said you're taking medication now, bipolar. When were you diagnosed with that?
About a year ago, sometime around like June or July, I went to a facility in California. At the end of the day, I can't help that my wires are a little bit different across the neck. I can't help my mental makeup of the way that I was created. But I know that if I stay on these meds and I continue to do what I'm doing right now, I think my dad, I think my mom, I think Bree would all agree that they've seen a drastic change. Now, the question that you asked was, is that sustainable, and will that be the case moving forward? I would like to sit here and say yes, and I have a lot of confidence that that would be the case. But at the end of the day, it's to be seen. I'm still moving forward. I'm still doing the little meticulous things that I have to do on a daily basis to try and keep this right over anything else is what means the most to me. So the main thing to me is not physical health. It's mental.
Part of that process is keeping friends and family around, and Manziel can always come home to Texas A&M, where people still line up for hours just to meet him.
I'm coming back from a huge downfall to try and make, I don't know what kind of comeback it'll be, but I know that I want to get back on a football field and do what brought me so much joy in my life and makes me happy doing as my job.
Now, the domestic assault charge that was dropped, he only addressed by saying he don't want to talk about it now, maybe later, but he acknowledged it was a tough situation for everybody, and he does have a CFL contract waiting on him. We're waiting to see what he might do, but he could be back in football, pro football in Canada, at least, in the next few months.
So much. That's awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
That's pretty open and blunt conversation. I actually hadn't listened to the last 3 minutes because I didn't have time today, but I had but that's a pretty open conversation. I've never really seen an NFL player openly talk about bipolar like that.
And it boiled down, just right here, what Joshua said. A lot changed for me when I realized I was the problem. And there's a song by Joe Walsh called One Day at a Time. If anybody in here that's in recovery, you've never heard that song, go listen to every word of it, because it describes me, or us, in recovery, a lot, and that he says in there, when he finally realized he was the problem, that's when, the problem started going away, and
well, alcohol blinds self-awareness, especially,
yeah,
He
definitely.
was drinking, he definitely had the blinders on, and he wasn't really fully aware of what he was doing.
It blocks you from spiritual growth. Not talking about religion, but like in your, like we're talking about the the dreamland and and stuff like that, and your ambitions and your morals. It clouds all that, your judgment. And I know whenever I used to say when I drink, it changed my perception of reality, and it kind of does for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying it's good that he finally openly talked about it. I always thought he was he was just an egotistical guy, and you could even see it on the sideline because he wasn't very much of a leader. And but so I always, somebody who comes out and does an interview like that and openly talks about their insecurities and their faults, I'm willing to give another chance to. So we'll definitely see what happens in the next year. Plus, he may become a better player. Like if you free your mind up, he's still young. He's only 24 years old. 26. So he still has a lot of life left in front of him. But
and anybody can change. Like that saying, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference." Difference is I can change me. My actions, my reactions, and my attitudes. And under no circumstance can I change the past, the truth, or other people. And I try to live by that because, the more I work on myself, the better other people get. I'm able to tolerate life. And the more I know that I'm the one that changed. Another way to say that serenity prayer is, God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one I can, and the wisdom to know it's me.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to work on is me. And help others along the way, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's still young, Ted. I hope he does good, Everybody deserves a second chance.
Again, that was part of our, and here it is again. And that's part of our Mental Health Monday news. As always, we're going to share part of something in the news that has to do with mental health. I think that's pretty interesting to share. And that just recently happened. So something else will happen in between this week and next week where a celebrity or somebody in a high position in the world may openly talk about mental health.
Absolutely.
If you ever see the story that I missed, but I usually don't miss it. But
hi, Karina.
Yeah, love to see him make a full return.
Yeah, 20s were a rough era, rough decade.
Right? I spent a lot of my 20s drinking too much.
Yeah. And some.
But now we'll go over a little of the actual neurochemistry, what happens when we dream. We haven't really discussed that. This video really that will play here really explains it really well.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more here. Since tonight's subject is dreaming, people share your thoughts on dreaming in the comments. Tell me if you had any strange dreams or what you think dreams are or your theory of what a dream is, I guess. So please share and comment, and we'll share it up here and talk more about it.
Absolutely.
Every night, almost everyone on the planet enters into a state of unconsciousness and paralysis. But what is really happening inside the body when we drift off? And what's the impact if we don't get enough sleep? Sleep is regulated by your circadian rhythm, or body clock, located in the brain. The body clock responds to light cues, ramping up production of the hormone melatonin at night and switching it off when it senses light. There are 4 stages of sleep that the body experiences in cycles throughout the night. On a good night, we cycle through these stages 4 or 5 times. Stages 1 and 2 are light sleep, This is a transition from being awake to falling asleep. Heart rate and breathing begin to slow, body temperature falls, and muscles may twitch. Stage 3 is sometimes referred to as delta sleep because of the slow delta brainwaves that are released during this stage. This is the first stage of deep sleep, where our cells produce the most growth hormone to service bones and muscles, allowing the body to repair itself. Stage 4 is where we begin to dream. The body creates chemicals that render it temporarily paralyzed, so that we do not act out our dreams. In this stage, the brain is extremely active, and our eyes, although closed, dart back and forth as if we were awake. Humans roughly spend 1/3 of their lives asleep. Modern lifestyles, stress, and the proliferation of technology mean that people are sleeping far less today than they were a century ago. Sleeping less than 7 hours per day is associated with an increased risk of developing chronic conditions, which could reduce life expectancy. So for a healthier, longer life, get some shut-eye.
That's interesting. Everybody get sleep. That's always a good thing to do. And obviously it's good for your body and your mind and your mental health. So
Absolutely. You know, and there's studies too that talk about, you know, dreaming being healthy can be therapeutical, you know, just different ways, you know. I can't remember exactly what it was I was reading, but talking about just, you know, preparing yourself for sleep. You know, if you're wanting to, because we solve problems in our sleep, our mind's working while we're sleeping. You know, thinking of those, gathering those thoughts that we've created all day and that we've seen all day or gathered all day, and putting them together. You know, so there's different ways and studies saying that you can prepare yourself for that and try to get some good answers, and, you know, and kind of like going into a hero dose, you know, going with an intention to sleep.
yeah. That's like it.
I don't know a whole lot about it. I didn't read everything on it, but it sounded pretty interesting. I got squirreled and had to go do something. Hey, Smashley. How you doing, hon? Thing I need most is
Somebody's bumping outside my house. So they have been for like 20 minutes. It's getting annoying.
sounds typical. The thing I need the most is the hardest for me to get. I understand that. Not exactly what you're talking about, but I mean that I can relate to that phrase in another sense.
Sleep. Dreaming and sleep.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
I do know that when I have dreams and remember them, that's usually when I have the best sleep and feel the most refreshed.
Yeah, I get broken sleep. I don't think I dream very much.
Man, you don't hear that on my computer, do you? Somebody just somewhere out front bumping the music. They have been for about 20 minutes. It's rattling my house.
Damn. No, I can hear the beat because my feet are going to it. I'm sitting here playing drums.
Surprised nobody's bumping.
Not their beat. I mean, on the background music on here.
Yeah.
Hey, Sandra.
Really annoying.
My dad, he lived down in Belleville on the east end or west end of Belleville, which is right next to East St. Louis, and there was a bunch of gangbangers across the street, and they were booming that music real loud and stuff, and he come unglued and come out of that house with his pistol in his hand and told them guys, "You turn that shit down, or I'm gonna shoot that radio." I'm like, "Shit, you're gonna get us killed, Pop." He didn't care though. Insomnia does suck, Karina. Yeah, I get about 3 at a time, 4 at a time. Sometimes I get lucky and I'll get a good 6 nights, 6-hour night of sleep. But usually no more than 6.
I poked my head out the door, and apparently they stopped bumping their music.
Hey, there you go.
That was annoying. It was like starting to get on my nerves because it was going on for so long.
Did you hear what I was just saying?
It's somebody that was picking up. There's a nursing home across the street from my house, but somebody picks up their like significant other, and then they sit there while they're waiting for them, and they just bump their music. I'm like, I mean, I could at least call their office in there and tell them, not to sit there and bump their music. There's 220. Yeah. There's actually 220 residents trying to sleep in that place. It's a nursing home.
Right. God. Yeah, some people just don't have respect for others.
I mean, yeah, you can bump at home. You can bump all you want in your own house. It's just when you you're parked in front of somebody else's well-being and just sit there and bump your music. It can be really annoying to that person.
Respect the fact that you're sharing your space. Other people sharing, or you're sharing someone else's space.
Yeah, I can be the grumpy old man. I actually had somebody do it. It was at 6 a.m. and they woke me up from a dead sleep. I was so angry. I went out there and I tapped on their window and I chewed them out. I was like, you realize it's 6 in the morning, you're sitting in front of my house bumping your music. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Because I scared him. He was scared shitless.
How's that?
Well, I'm trying to sleep. It's 6 a.m. in the morning, And he's like, "Oh, my bad." But yeah, don't wake me up out of sleep. That's when you wake up like an angry bear sometimes.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, plus I don't know why he was sitting out front of the house bumping at 6 a.m. So he was my neighbor's, one of my neighbor's friends.
Dan Bear, not Dan Baird.
I like to bump my music too, but I do it in my own house. It doesn't rattle my neighbors. It rattles my house, but not my neighbor's house.
Well, I don't know if you heard me, but when you walked away to go pop the door open, I was telling these guys, and my dad lived down on the west end of Belleville, and right across the street from his house was a bunch of gangbangers. Yeah. And they were booming that box, and he walked outside, and actually he was in his underwear. It was in the morning. Walked outside, fucking gun and his pistol in his hand, said, "If you guys don't turn that fucking music down, I'm going to shoot the damn radio," blah, blah. He turned it down, and he walked back inside.
See, don't wake up a bear. Somebody's trying to sleep. No. There's women who are the same way. If you wake a woman up sometimes, oh man, she'll kill you.
Uh-huh.
And kids. There's probably kids that are the same way. You wake up a kid. It's like waking up an angry bear.
Ashley.
And a bunch of parents are about to do that too. They're about to start waking their kids up for school now.
Yeah.
After they've been like kids yell at me to turn it down.
Yeah. He didn't care, Vicky, but I understand that thought process. That's the way I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, they're younger and younger now. There was a shooting today in my 20 minutes away from a town in my area, and it was an 18-year-old shot a 22-year-old and killed him. So, you got all these young kids running around with guns.
And no, Joe, it went a lot. It wasn't that mellow. It was a lot more to it, but that was the gist of it. But on here, I can't really get too in depth. I'll tell you the real story sometime.
Yeah, it's weird what 18-year-olds are doing nowadays, just carrying around guns. We have a big problem in my city with young people, 18 to 20-year-olds carrying around weapons and then using them all the time. But they use them on each other at least. They don't. It's not like random crimes. It's people who they know the victim, usually crime related.
I always carry, and I have, make sure I'm protected, and me and my people around me anyway, my family and any friends around me or people.
Staying
You never know.
The After Dark show.
Yeah, me too anymore, Ted. I always remember, or always wondered why my dad used to say, "Boy, anytime you're out after dark, you're just asking for trouble." Pop, it's only 10, 11, midnight,
I also found something that I was going to read too. It's about shamanic dreaming, what shamans think dreaming is. Because I think ancient knowledge of dreaming is always interesting as well.
Oh yeah.
Too many anger issues out there yet. But first, I was going to do a little cheers. So if you got there, load your cannabis. It's 7:43. Kick your feet up at home and get ready for bed and smoke a little cannabis.
I wanted to touch on this too. We was talking about the sense of dreaming, as far as, your, during your sleep, but, dreams and mental health sometimes can affect each other because, we get wrapped up and we get down in our symptoms or our mental health, and we can't live out our dreams that we want to, and that could create more mental health. That's why, I push mental health recovery as possible, and there are no limits. That's one of the things I've always stressed with people that have mental challenges. Just because you have restrictions and limitations doesn't mean you're totally out of the game. Just means you got to do things a little differently. And we can still do things. We can, just because we have mental health doesn't define who we are. It just maybe kind of limit us of what we can do sometimes, and that's okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat. So just know, guys, live your dreams. Aside from your mental health, take care of your mental health, and you can fulfill your dreams. There, like I said, recovery is possible, and there are no limits.
I think that's why we have premonitions and dreams. I think premonitions are more or less what you want in your future, but you probably just don't know it yet.
That sounds.
It's like the needs of your subconscious, but your conscious just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, that sounds very plausible.
Especially if the dreams feel so damn real.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to read this.
I got to do some of that tonight too.
But I was going to read this thing here. This is actually what shamans kind of interpret of dreams. And it's the interpretation of dreams goes back to prehistoric times. Tribal shamans took dreams seriously, working with their own dreams as well as those reported by members of their tribes. Various tribes interpreted dreams differently. For members of the Mojave tribe, dreams were sources of knowledge and messages from the Great Spirit, while the Inglorious Indians saw dreams as wishes from the soul. When we expand our consciousness and travel into our interior universe to explore other dimensions of being, we open ourselves up to the powers of energies that can guide and deliver us into the body of knowledge and potential that can serve the whole of humanity, not just ourselves. This is the essence of shamanism. Contemporarily, shamanic dream work attempts to understand the spirit and energy contained within the dream and so bring about an integration or resolution on an energetic level. And that basically says that it takes your dreams and kind of how to incorporate it into your, existing life.
Right.
Which is exactly what I do when I do magic mushrooms. You have an intention, and you have the experience, and then you have an integration period or a manifestation period where you manifest what you learned in the dream-like world and use it inside of your conscious world, you know. And the shamans kind of, you know, believe the same thing, that the dreams are. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said right. Yeah.
It says dreams are a doorway through which the shamanic practitioner can travel to the inner realms and gain direct access to the unconscious impulses which gave rise to a dream. Nightmares can be transformed and their energy released from the body. Creative potential within the dream can be released and given permission to perform magic and miracles in your life. When the interior life has transformed, the exterior life or middle world are also transformed and can start to live a new reality. Shamanic practice is a natural path to spiritual enlightenment. It honors the earth and everything connected to it, and it acknowledges the magic and mystery of life and spirit and everything around us. And more importantly, it honors the human soul. And basically, in the shamanic context, the word dreaming can mean a number of things, including having a vision, going on a shamanic journey, or receiving information in a trance state. So that's what the shamanic ritual kind of talks about. And I actually think there's a lot of truth to that.
Was that on that Healing with the Shamans?
No, this is just an expert I found on the internet.
Oh, okay.
And it just talks about, and then it talks about more, it turns more spiritual towards the end, talks about shamans and gods, but it's an interesting aspect, and I think that it has a lot of truth, because I think that you can interpret your dreams and you can interpret that knowledge that you learn and use it in your, you know, real life. Thus, they help you. There are more messages about overcoming fear as well, and that if you overcome a fear, you know, your dreams can change. You know, and you can. And I've overcome fears, and my dreams have really started to change a lot over the last 2 or 3 years.
I woke up in different feelings, you know, and not knowing what the dreams were. But, you know, I've woke up crying before. I've woke up before with a huge sense of relief. Like a big weight was lifted off my shoulders. Different things like that. And it's really, really profound. And it's weird. I've never been able to figure out what the dream was, though. Anytime I woke up, you know, in that profound of a feeling and emotional state.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I probably only have one dream I remember a couple times a month, but I can work on trying to remember dreams more. Like I said, doing that exercise where you wake up and smoke cannabis at about 4 a.m. and then go back to sleep.
I wake up, I can't get back to sleep.
If you weren't here when I said that, Ashley, there was an experiment I tried, and I watched it on YouTube, where you wake up right before you go to REM sleep and you smoke cannabis, and it'd be like 3 or 4 a.m. if you wake up at like 6 or 7. And you smoke the cannabis and then go back to sleep, and you'll actually have lucid dreams where you'll remember a lot more of your dreams. And I tried it many times, and it works every time. You seem to go into a very lucid state of dream, and then you'll wake up and you'll remember it very well, and usually remember it the rest of the day as well. It's just a lot of times we just don't remember our dreams because our brain doesn't remember them.
Sounds like you would. That's what you're building protection. Sounds like, Ashley.
Yeah.
Mama bear protecting.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. First, Steve-O.
Yeah, so you'd have to try it right before you wake up, Ashley. Well, 2 or 3 hours before you wake up, depending on when you do. And lucid dreaming is basically dreaming where you know you can have control more of your state or your dream, I guess.
Ashley, now you said you were flying in yours. I don't know if you heard me talking about. I fly in mine too sometimes, but I have to be running, and it's like the Running Man. I have to be running as fast as I can, and then I start taking off. And I'm in air, and I have to keep running. If I stop running, I'll start coming back down, and it's weird.
It says dreaming of flying can symbolize personal freedom, willpower, hope, and lightness of being, or a sudden realization in life, or hidden talents that are now becoming known to you. It also can mean a need to let something go. So it can mean many things.
I think
I don't think I ever flew flying mine.
It's funny because I think I answered those questions, both of those this weekend. You know, letting my dad go, and just trying to figure out what I want to do in life.
Astral projections.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole different experience because I've done that, and that's when you like feel like you leave your body. Then I've had lucid dreams where I'm dreaming and I wake up and I'm still dreaming and I'm able to control the dream while realizing that I'm not, that I am dreaming, it's always an interesting thought when you're like, holy. Sometimes you realize like, holy shit, I'm dreaming, but I'm not, but I'm aware of it, and you're aware of that as well.
Yeah, that waking up jerking. I was reading about that earlier. That's a common thing. You feel like you're falling. And it says, despite what everybody says, you're not going to die if you actually land.
Yeah, I remember that rumor when I was a kid. They're like, if you land on the ground and you don't wake up before you do, you're going to die. Like that was the rumor, and I was in junior high and in grade school. Like, oh my God, I better not do that then.
Yeah. I'd say I wake myself up before I fall.
But then I'm pretty sure that I did when I was like 10 or 12. I didn't wake up and I crashed into the ground. But in the dream, I just got back up. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't die.
Yeah. Dreams are weird, that's for sure.
But yeah, that's probably why magic mushrooms or any kind of psychedelics are weird as well, because you kind of enter that same world.
Yeah. I actually did a study, Sandra, and might have been high school. I think it was high school, on pit bulls. And because it was back in the 90s, late 90s or early 90s, 92. It was late in high school. It was my senior year. And I did it on how pit bulls got a bad rap and how they were bred and all that stuff. And, it really irritated me. Some of the stuff I was finding out about the stigma, for pit bulls. Pit bulls are great. Dogs are great dogs. It's the owner that makes dogs mean. Pit bulls are great dogs, great protectors. But they actually bred pit bulls to actually jump up and grab the jowls on a bull and kind of wrangle them in if they wasn't going the way they needed to. And they used them as herding dogs for bulls.
Huh. This is the definition of a lucid dream, since we were talking about it. It says the dreamer has to be aware of their dreaming. They are aware actions will not carry over after waking. They are aware that physical laws do not apply in the dream, and a dreamer has a clear memory of the waking world. But it used to be 7 different things. It had to be awareness of the dream state, awareness of the capacity to make decisions, awareness of memory functions, awareness of self, awareness of dream environment, and the awareness of meaning a dream, and the awareness of concentration and focus. But like to have all those things is kind of hard. So that turned it down to just 4 things now to be considered a lucid dream.
Yeah, and I've had those 4, and it's weird because I can remember myself saying, that I didn't want to wake up because I wanted to keep doing whatever I was doing because I knew I wouldn't carry over. I wouldn't get in trouble. And I just remember saying, no, don't wake up. Don't wake up. Fuck. And then next thing you know, I'm awake. And I wake up. And now those dreams I usually remember. It's the ones that are real in my deep sleep that I don't remember.
Yeah. I always think it's weird because I can remember all the vivid dreams I've had. And I remember one where I was in the shed of my old house, and it was my alarm went off, and that's what caused the lucid dream, because I was dreaming and I heard the alarm going off in my dream, and it kind of woke me up, and I was like, oh shit, that's the alarm in the real world. And I'm still in the dream. So I was at that point I was able to control the dream once I heard the alarm. But I think that was triggered by the alarm, and the alarm didn't fully wake me up, but it woke me up. So I mean, it was a really weird experience. But I remember it very well, because then I was like, oh man, I'm dreaming, and I can control this. I'm like, this is really cool. That's what I was like thinking in my head. And I think the dream went on for like 3 or 4 more like real minutes until I actually woke up. And I can also wake myself up from really bad dreams. I can do that every time though. So if I do ever get into something in a dream that's really bad, I do wake myself up. And I can usually do it about 90% of the time. So I don't know if anybody else can do that. Anybody else in the comments wake themselves up from a bad dream?
I'm not in the comments, but yeah.
You can too?
Yeah.
Do you do it a lot, or can you just it happens once in a while?
I have before a few times, but not like it's I don't think it's something I can do every time.
It's weird. I'll
be able to do it a couple times though.
I'll have the bad dream or the bad thoughts, and then I'll have the awareness to think, well, I don't like this anymore, and then I'm gonna wake up. And then I wake up, and I'm like,
that's exactly the part I remember. Ashley, I agree with the chakras, and I think it's called a yogi or a guide or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm wanting to learn that too.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a Mental Health Monday about it too, and a Psychonaut Files episode about it as well.
Yeah, have a week.
Something that can be used in psychedelic therapy.
Yeah, because I'm to the point now, especially after this weekend, I had like I said, I had a good healing weekend.
So Ashley said she can't wake herself up at all. So you've never been able to do that at all, Ashley?
Ted can.
Just wake up crying? But maybe you still woke up. Did you wake yourself up, or did you just kind of subconsciously wake up? Sometimes it's hard to tell because you're so confused in that dreamlike state whether you woke yourself up or you just woke up.
Yeah.
But I'm always just so aware of it, myself. So
be right back.
It's always interesting. We all just end up like a movie scene. Yeah, it's the ones that really I get scared. I actually wake up when I have these. If I wake myself up, I usually get up out of bed and go outside or smoke cannabis. Usually, it scares the shit out of me enough. Because it's really rare if I ever wake myself up. Because most of the time I want to experience dreams. But it's the ones that get really intense, where like I'm about to get stabbed or something, or I'm getting chased by the ones that I'm getting chased by the police. I don't like those either. They make me uncomfortable. So sometimes I wake myself up from those. I've had a dream where I was a murderer and I had like every cop in the country trying to chase me. That was scary, so I woke myself up.
All right.
So real, I hate it. So yeah, that's interesting. So you can go back into dreams, but you can't control the other aspects of it. So I can do the same thing. I can go back into dreams as well, but like
not every time. And I know when I can't because I get frustrated. Yeah, I woke up that way. My wife and I woke up swinging before. My wife will grab my feet anymore. She don't.
Call me the dream walker. Mike, are you a dream? Are you a sleepwalker?
Oh shit!
How rare is that anyway? How rare is a sleepwalker? I'll look it up. I've done it once before, but it was more or less alcohol induced. Apparently, I sleptwalked and peed in the wrong place. It was the first week I moved in my house, and I was drunk. And apparently, I opened up my closet door and I peed in there. And my brother didn't even tell me that. He told me like a year later. He's like, "Yeah, man, you peed in your closet." I'm like, "Why didn't you ever tell me that I did?" He's like, "Yeah, I thought you knew." We were remodeling my house, and I smelled it in there. They call him the dream walker. Sometimes, yes.
I came home drunk and pissed in the hallway one time, thinking I was outside against the wall. I just leaned against the wall, or turned towards the wall, walking down the hallway. And for some reason, I stopped and leaned pissed towards on the wall. My dad walked out and said, "What the fuck you doing, boy?" Oh shit, I'm inside.
It says 22.4% of adults say they have had at least one sleepwalking episode. So it is pretty rare, but there are people who probably do it a lot more. My younger brother used to do it all the time, and it was just really weird when he would do it. But I don't think he does it as an adult anymore. But
Josh pissed his little buddy or his buddy's little sister's toy box.
Oh, jeez.
I've talked in my sleep. My dad said one time he thought I was trying to sneak somebody in or sneak out or just talking to somebody through my window. We live in a trailer, and you can hear everything.
Ty, how you doing?
Hey, Ty. And my dad said he come in there, and I was sitting there searching in bed. Where's it at? Where's it at? I was asleep, but I was trying to find something. And he woke me up, and I went back to sleep. But I don't remember it.
Where is
he peed everywhere, she said.
It says that according to estimates, 50 million to 70 million people in the U.S. have ongoing sleep disorders. Man, that's a lot.
Jimmy, I know what you were saying. Jimmy corrected. He says, my buddy's dad used to kiss in his dresser. Piss in his dresser.
66% of adults talk in their sleep. 22% sleepwalk. And 7.6% have had an episode of sleep paralysis.
What's it say on Deja Vu?
So a lot of people talk in their sleep, so that's interesting. More 2 out of 3 people talk in their sleep, probably pretty regularly. And a lot of us don't even know, if you sleep by yourself, or if your significant other sleeping and nobody hears each other, then just like if a tree falls on the floor, do you ever hear it? Nobody's around.
I type in Deja Vu and hit enter, and it brings up the strip club over in Springfield.
Ambien can make you sleepwalk. Interesting.
Huh.
Call Lisa the daydreamer. Trust me, I'm a daydreamer too, but that's the bipolar. My brain's just always daydreaming about everything. Fallen asleep standing a couple times. Oh.
Deja vu is a sense of already seeing something you're currently seeing or experiencing, coupled with knowing you haven't actually seen it, which is why it catches many people off guard. It is thought that to be equivalent of a small brain glitch. which two streams of the thought colliding. The phrase literally translated from French to mean already seen. It's an incredible common experience. Sometimes upwards of 97% of people are thought to have experienced deja vu at least once, with more than 2/3 of people experience it with some regularity. Yeah, I have it happen all the time.
What is that condition again?
Deja vu.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I always chalked it up to being reincarnated.
Huh.
or predicting, because sometimes it feels like I knew it was going to happen, and sometimes it feels like I had been in that place before. So
It feels like I feel like an inner child kind of feeling, and I'll the last couple months I've really like felt a lot more connected to my childhood, where I actually like have an experience. Like when I go out in the sun, I kind of feel like this child inside me, and you feel like your whole life, not just the moment. You know, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've noticed. No, I have to explain it because it's kind of hard, but what I was trying to say. There goes my squirrel brain.
Hey, I get it. It'll come back to you.
Sometimes these things that I'm trying to explain are kind of complex, and I have to explain it so other people understand. So my mind kind of went off there somewhere else, what I was trying to explain. But
Yeah.
I'll probably think about it again in 5 minutes when it comes back.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot. I can't. The more I try to remember it, it keeps going away.
It's Monday.
Yeah, some of them psych meds, Jimmy, you're right. They have murdered people on them. What was another one? Ativan, this guy was on down here at a GSI, Grain Systems Incorporated or something like that. They grain bins, the round silos, but this is what they make. But they have a factory over here, and a guy was on Ativan, and they prescribed him too much or whatever, and it mixed with another one. Actually, Ambien might have been one, but he just went nuts, stabbed like 6 people. You know. No telling what happened. And the weird thing was, he was a really nice, easygoing guy. I didn't know him before that, but whenever I was in county for my felony for about 3 weeks, I was in there with him, and a real nice guy. We sat there and played spades, real down to earth, humble, nice, easygoing dude. And he talked about it. You know, he had some mental health issues, but he said it was his meds that had him all screwed up.
I remember what I was trying to say now. I was basically saying that I really have done so much healing just with this podcast, just talking out, about my issues and being more open about my insecurities and being vulnerable has allowed me to kind of feel more happy about my life and kind of connect to this child inside me. And I feel it in my dreams as well now too. When I go to sleep, I feel it's more like a nostalgic feeling where you feel like your childhood's connected to your adulthood, and that you're not living in just the present, but you can feel the past as well and everything.
Sure.
And I think that's part of being like healthy is being able to feel all that,
Oh, absolutely.
And understanding all that. And that's psychedelics. I mean, I do psychedelics, and it does keep you really connected to your subconscious, which makes me, I'm aware of all these things that, are of why I do things or how I'm feeling, so it's really interesting when you dive deeper and you really connect your subconscious, your dreams, and your inner child, all together, and how they all kind of interact.
Sure. I've been in kind of a fog yesterday and today, not a fog, but of I don't know. Like I said, it was a healing weekend, and it was exhausting though, because I went through a lot of mental shit, just going over some stuff. And, but I'm kind of tired and kind of jet lagged from that, but I'm happy. I got a different sense of peace about me that I just, I don't know. Everything's going to be all right.
See, that's what it does. You just know everything's going to be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And those are good vibrations to send out into the universe.
And Jimmy, it started with an A, so it might have been Ambien. You know, it was a long time ago. I thought it was Ativan, but or it could have been both, for that matter.
He's been in an edible fog this weekend. Well, I went to the event in Rosebuds on Saturday after the farmer's market, and I smoked a lot of cannabis. And I haven't dabbed in like 5 or 6 weeks, and I did so many dabs at the event.
My buddies were giving me shit. They were every time they'd walk out and I was smoking a joint or something like that, because there was only 2 of us that smoked. A couple of them took a couple hits, but they don't smoke. The other ones had piss tests; they couldn't.
Yeah.
But every time they come out, they say, "Rhino, I don't know who smokes more, you, Snoop Dogg, or Willie." I'm like, them guys by far, probably. They can afford to smoke more than I can. But I said, no, I just, enjoying myself, having a good time this weekend. It was beautiful. It rained Saturday before we almost got postponed on our float trip, but they called us and said, nope, it's clearing up. Come on down to the buses, and we went and floated. But it turned out to be beautiful. It was a little chilly on the ride there. It was early in the morning, but once we got on the river and got floating, sun came out about an hour later. It warmed up right away, but the sun came out real hard and strong, and it turned out to be a really, really nice day.
Man, I can't do that. I'm trying to
Nothing but good vibes to you too, Sandra. I got some Pastor beans.
Trying to bring that up to remind people about. So that's this Wednesday. I'm going to be celebrating my 1,250 follower giveaway, and that's going to be at 6:30. And it will be a live feed, and we're going to give away another Great River mushroom box. It's going to be an awesome prize, so make sure you guys join us then, or join me. Ross, so you're welcome to join me up on screen as well too. We're just going to be hanging out. Session giveaways and celebrate another. So I usually have a big giveaway every 250 followers on the Great River.
Hey, little boxes in the house. Hi, Debbie. How you doing, hon?
Hey, Valerie.
Hi, Val.
Little boxes. I've heard that name before.
She does a lot of cooking with cannabis and has edibles and stuff like that, and she makes all kinds of stuff.
Heck yeah, I think I've seen the name on Facebook, and I checked into one of her and do it.
Yeah, I don't think I know her real name, but it's Dabby, her puppet. It's like Hobbies has Tommy and Todd and little Red Rocket stuff. Little boxes has Dabby, and she's awesome. She's a little sassy frass, but she's really fucking cool, and she's a great cook and does a lot of amazing things.
Yeah, and I'll give away another bottle of Lion's Mane, and the mushroom box is pretty cool. It's just some cool decor, all mushroom related. I got a lot of the prizes right here, but I kind of wanted to keep it a secret this time, and because I shared the first one to let people know that it was a pretty cool box. So, but the Great River mushroom box is going to be an awesome prize package. Joe Kelly won the first one, so ask him. It was pretty. I think he won the first one.
Oh yeah, Joe.
He got them socks, the mushroom socks, some other decor, and I think some Lion's Mane. I don't remember what it was. It was in May or June when I did that.
The Dreamers.
He needs some more. He loves the socks. He loves his socks or his socks. Oh. This sucks.
Dream on, dream a little.
He wears them so much that he's wearing them out.
You too, Sandra. Good night, hon.
We'll see you later.
Have a blessed night.
We still got 10 lovely people in here. Don't forget to hit those reaction buttons, folks. Even if you're not staying. Appreciate
He
it.
says he stepped in dog piss in him today. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
I can relate there, Joe.
Oh, inside the house, or the dog peed in the house, I guess?
Yeah, mine does that once in a while, or a lot actually, the older one. And I'll step in it in the middle of the night. That or cat something or another, hairball, like whatever they fucking do.
He's a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, Lisa May got in trouble.
Uh-oh. Grounded.
Doggy pee-pee. Well, at least the dog wasn't drunk and peed in the closet, because we've all done that, apparently. From the comments in the section, I look like a lot of people.
A good portion of us have anyway.
In a random place. I wonder if they already done a poll on that. What percentage of the population has been drunk and peed in a random place that did not mean to?
You could do a poll.
I'm guessing it's like 20, 25, 24%.
Yeah, I'd bet about a quarter.
Some people are still really good no matter how drunk they get. They're still controlled where they pee at. Who let the dogs out? It wasn't no Lisa May. Oh well, at least pee can be cleaned up. My dog used to be able to go 12 hours without letting him out. Well, about 8. But that was a big dog. Probably had a big bladder. Are you guys arguing on our comments?
Fuck you, okay? I think so, maybe.
Oh well, it'll be all right. You guys will have dreams tonight, and you got to wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed because your dreams will have taken care of it.
Yeah.
That's
your dreams will solve your problems. I don't know that it works for a couple though, both of them. Dream counseling.
Jimmy, you'll see you later. We're probably gonna end it here in 5 minutes, and anybody who wants to watch can go over and join Waylon's. Waylon's, is it the review episode tonight?
No, that's tomorrow. Tonight's the third chair gardener.
We'll see you later, Jimmy. Though.
All right. Good night, Jimmy. Much love, brother.
We're not giving away the box yet, Joe Kelly.
I'll get that beard oil out tomorrow, Jimmy.
Yeah. Joe's already hashtagging. Joe, this is for Wednesday, so we're gonna have that Wednesday night. Come join us. He's like, I'm predetermined to win it already, so
he's manifesting.
Right? Because you're right. That's probably what the hashtag will be. Something like that.
Definitely. Thanks, Elisa.
Heck, I'm already up to 1,300 followers, so I'm already going to be up to 1,500 sooner or later again.
Oh, yeah.
Probably by the end of September, October.
I'm at 5.5, 550. It was 557 today. And I got my first, Ty sent me some stars today. My first round of stars.
That you guys sharing me out. Every time you share me out, I get some random people that add my Great River Mushrooms page, so it helps a lot. They end up finding me or searching me on Facebook, and I'm the only one that's named Great River Mushrooms, so it's very easy to find me. Search Great River Mushrooms. I'm the top one.
Yeah, that helps.
That's why I chose the name too. I wanted a name that didn't. There was no. Name was not taken anywhere across the whole nation.
Right. Yeah, I didn't think about that whenever I created ODAT. There was a lot of ODAT for one day at a time.
Ah.
It was ODAT Recovery Solutions. And there was a lot of recovery solutions and there was a lot of ODAT, but none of them together. But still, it still made it confusing for the search.
Right.
You had to put everything in to get the search. Or scroll down after ODAT, but
again, come join me on Wednesday. I'll be live at 6:30 on my Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, the Great River Mushrooms Facebook page. So I'm gonna take that down now because we're probably gonna end it now. And,
all right, guys.
Nice little episode on dreaming tonight. So
thanks everybody for coming in, sharing their experiences. Go
As
follow
always.
Roster Rhino too. Or also. There's only one.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks for all the comments. Rewatch our episodes, share them out. There are people who still watch them, and there's a lot of useful information about dreaming tonight that even I learned about as well. So we'll see you guys later. As always, make sure you love yourself. Make sure you forgive yourself. With that, anything is possible. And until then, we'll see you guys later. So
Good night,
peace.
guys.